was just reading some fine literature. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Shirley Livingston, and I'm a professor at the Harvard University. Let's get some better lighting in here, shall we? Ah, that's better. I hear you want to learn a little bit about the NC Woods. Well, I happen to have quite extensive knowledge on that subject, and wouldn't mind sharing my knowledge with you young saplings. There's so much we could learn about, like the aesthetic scenery, including the abiotic and biotic features, as well as the water quality and human impacts we have on environments such as these. How about a brief tour of the woods to start, shall we?
This is a map of North Central Woods, which is directly adjacent to North Central High School and Hilltop Daycare Center. 86th Street runs directly north of the woods. The boundaries of the woods are indicated by the purple dashed lines. The area is filled with lush vegetation as well as vast prairies. There is a man-made path through the area displayed by the red dashed lines. There is a creek that runs through the heart of the area. There is a bridge that allows one to cross the creek near the southern boundary. Now let's go to Dr. Augusta Wynn for some commentary on the creek in the woods.
Hello there! My name is Dr. Augusta Wynn from the University of Aerosol in California. I am here in the middle of a lush, temperate paradise in the middle of exotic Indianapolis, Indiana. I have been living off the land here for a whole 2 hours, and am now ready to inform you of the natural phenomena here. If you want to survive, follow me! Ah, now this is a real treat. This is the creek that runs through the woods. It originates just behind me a bit and flows all the way down through what the natives call the White River. Quite extraordinary indeed. Now let's take a closer look at what makes up this fine landmark. This is exquisite. Look at that creek go. There's so much life in these waters, I can smell it. But there would be no life in these waters if it weren't for 2 key elements that are dissolved: oxygen and nitrogen. The oxygen gives the fish the air they need to breathe, and nitrogen is released by respirating organisms. Now, this nitrogen in excess can cause what's called eutrophication, or the overgrowth of algae. This is not very good for the river, and luckily for it, it's not going on at this point. Now to move on to pH. Another aspect of this water that is important is the pH level. The ideal pH for a creek is between 7 and 8. Luckily for this creek, it's within that range, making it a perfect environment for the aquatic organisms that live here.
Now, wasn't that exciting? There's so much we can learn from our surroundings. But water is only one aspect of this magnificent ecosystem. Let's talk a little bit about the wildlife now, shall we? Dr. Gilfish is a professor at the University of Djibouti and has committed her whole career to studying wildlife in the deciduous forest. Let's take a look at what she's discovered over at NC Woods.
Hello, my name is Dr. Gilfish, and I'm here observing the wild and untamed inhabitants of NC Woods. I have seen many remarkable organisms here today. For example, I have seen many native birds in this area, including the rare Turdus migratoris, or what the natives call the robin. I have also seen the native house sparrow and the regal cardinal. However, I have only scratched the surface. There's so much more to see. Let's take a look, shall we? There are many more animals in this woods besides the birds I mentioned. There are various insects and various mammals, including deer. As you can see from here, they're abundant in this area. They're all very important to the ecosystem here. Here's a model of what this ecosystem would look like.
This Stella model is a representation of a similar ecosystem to that of NC Woods. The 3 main components of this model are grass, deer, and wolves. The top stock is that of the grass, which is the producer in this simulated ecosystem. It is characterized by a growth rate and a death rate that regulate the population. The primary consumer in this ecosystem is the deer, which feed on the abundant grass. The deer population is also characterized by a birth rate and death rate like the grass. However, the deer population is kept at a constant level by the wolf population, which is the tertiary consumer in the food chain. If the wolf population were not to be present, the deer population would likely grow exponentially, causing an imbalance in the ecosystem. This is a typical predator-prey relationship that could take place with any animals in a similar ecosystem. Now back to Dr. Gilfish for some more information on the wildlife.
This ecosystem depends on everything to work together to thrive. Oh my god! It's a sight! It's amazing! It's a rare cross-country runner! Look at it go with amazing speed. They try to be the fastest in the up with the alpha of their species. This is an amazing sight!
My, this is getting more exciting by the minute. Wildlife is obviously a very important part of many ecosystems, but that is only scratching the surface. Plants and trees also play a very important role in many ecosystems around the world. However, these plants and trees could not exist if it was not for the soil beneath them. Dr. Dan D. Lyon is a botanist and a pedologist from the University of Timbuktu who has much knowledge on these plants and trees. Let's see what she has to offer.
Trees and soil are one of the most important parts of any ecosystem. They provide shelter, food, and shade to the animals that live in their ecosystem. There are many different tree species native to Indiana. Let's take a closer look at some of them. Follow me. Trees receive the nutrients they need to grow from the soil. The most important nutrients are called nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, or NPK. They can be found throughout several layers of the soil. The first layer of the soil is called the O horizon, and it contains ground matter such as leaves and sticks, as well as grass. The next layer below that is the A horizon. The A horizon is comprised mainly of decaying organic matter, also known as humus. The A horizon is also composed of plant roots as well as organisms that make their home there. Directly below the A horizon is the B horizon, which is slightly more acidic than the A horizon and contains heavy metals. Below the B horizon is the C horizon, which contains weathered parent rock material, and directly below that is the bedrock. However, soil is also prone to weathering from the elements. Wind, water, and ice are all components that will cause erosion. This erosion right here was likely caused by water runoff from the top of the hill. As you can see, there is no vegetation in this zone of erosion. The erosion would most likely stop if some grass was planted, because vegetation is the quickest and easiest way to prevent erosion.
Wow, what a positively refined report on the bare minerals of our ecosystem. But I am deeply worried about something. What are our impacts on environments such as this one as humans? Are we protecting it? Are we harming it? Is it possible that we are causing the destruction of beauty such as this one? I know a scientist who is very adamant about the repercussions of our actions. Let's go to Dr. Felicity Sunshine to see what our impacts are as humans on the environment.
Hello, my name is Dr. Felicity Sunshine, like happiness and sunshine. I'd like to invite you all to my circle of friendship and happiness. I love the forest so much, and I would hate to see it harmed by any of our actions. It's just, we don't realize the impact we have on these environments. Like, the litter that we place on the sides of the creek gets washed down and harms the environment. It's totally harshing my mellow. As you can see, some of this trash here may have been thrown down from 86th Street and washed down the creek. Some other harmful things that can be washed off of, street areas of, like, gasoline and other harmful toxins to the environment. It could harm fish, ducks, majestic ducks. Anyway, right this way, sunflowers. One of the most prominent impacts humans have had on this ecosystem is the building of the cross-country track. This track can cause erosion, as mentioned by my colleague Dr. Lyon, and it can also cause disruptions to the natural ecosystem wildlife patterns. However, the building of the bridge and other openings in the ecosystem allow animals to easily cross from one side to the other, allowing them to move more freely across the entire ecosystem. But the real question is, how can we avoid the negative impacts of our human population and help make the natural world a better place? One of the ways we can do it is by throwing trash in the nearest receptacle, and also by placing absorbent rocks near roadsides to help prevent the flow of pollution. We should all do our part, because one day we could, one day we might not have a world to help improve.
What wonderful insight Dr. Felicity Sunshine has to offer. It's been amazing how much we have learned in such a short amount of time. We've learned that the creek that runs through NC Woods provides an essential resource for plant and animal growth. We have gone into depth in the specifics of the food chain pertaining to the NC Woods, learning that every animal plays a pivotal role in the ecosystem. We have also learned that soil, one I greatly thought of, provides essential nutrients for plant and animal growth. We are also also informed on the major damage we humans have caused to natural phenomena such as the NC Woods. Oh, crumpets. It looks like we're out of time. Well, it's been really fun teaching you about the NC Woods on our little journey. Till next time, toodles!
Turn the music up in the headphones. If you feeling like a pimp, long pump, put your shoulders off. Ladies is pimp suit, go and get your shoulders off. This is crazy, baby, don't forget that boy told you get that. Turn them shoulders, I'm probably over to y'all. Probably be like by the floor, trying to hustle some things. Can't go with the ball, feeling no remorse, feeling like my head was full. Finger to the Lord, gripping my ball. From the bottom to the top of the pop. Learned in Japan and I'm straight up the block. I can run it back, get it, man, I'm straight up the block. I can run it back, get it, cause I'm straight with
Bee horizon is comprised of something. That's the bee horizon. It is comprised of weathered parent rock material. No, wait, no it's not. That's the sea horizon.
You got it. Rocks near roadsides and allowing them to absorb pollution. Another way would be to...
What are you talking about?
But I am deeply worried about
I say, yeah, but rolling like a big shot.
Is it possible that we are causing the destruction of the environment? Yeah, I know I messed up.
There's so much life in these waters, I can smell it.
Is a professor at the University of Djibouti.
Now we can tell that there's more.
Now let's talk a little bit.
Say that there are deer abundant in this area. There's also moles, chipmunks, rabbits, and squirrels too.
Wow, what a positively refined
full effect on our environment, so it's totally hashing my
Wow, what a positively refined. Okay, that makes sense. I think I have more boogers than Emma. No offense, Emma.
Felicity Sunshine, you know, like happiness and sunshine. I'd like to welcome you all to my happiness friend. This is so odd and awkward.
My, this is getting more exciting by the minute. We've learned that the creek that once grew into wood provides essential nutrients. I fumbled.
You mumbled?
No, I went. You heard it. I was like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Because one day we... I don't know how to fake cry. What's this?
You were doing great!